What's the best nightclub in the world? Many attribute the moniker to Berghain, Berlin's uber-exclusive techno institution notorious for its draconian door policy. A diverse cross-section of nightlife professionals have their favorite clubs, including Basement in Brooklyn, New York, Gay in London, the Eagle in Wilton Manors, and the Cock in New York City. Question 2. With a Bacardi shot, I'd swallow that. Nightlife experts have compiled a list of the world's best gay bars, and I have my own best.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw this list. I can't take this shot.
Well, you have your own list, right?
I don't agree with this if we take a shot.
I'm just sipping.
Well, do you have your own list?
I've been to one of them, and I'm like, this couldn't be in the top 10 in the world. But
Well, those are just some examples of some of the best.
No, they
nightlife-
literally named those as the top 5. Like, I've been to GAY. I don't see it as a top 5.
But the thing for me, because with GAY, it's not that great, but it's an institution.
Yes.
And like that was kind of how that list was coming out to me. It was like not necessarily the best, but these are literally like the cultural, and it's like Basement. It's like cultural
institutions,
you
yeah.
know?
So maybe rename it, retool it as like things to check out while you're in these areas. Because to me, with that said, A, not the best, but then B, what do you consider the best? Because if you saw the common theme was either Get It On, Dark Room, Jocks, and whatever. And so all that did to me was get all the kinds, the evidence to go, how are we going to go raid this place next? We're going to go raid that place next. We're going to go take over that place next.
What 1940 Supreme Court case are we going to
Right.
Exactly. I'm just saying, did you not read?
No, they're very different. Like, GAY is pretty, like, queer, where
super
Wilton
queer.
is pretty dark.
Well, I mean, like for example, right, GAY
Eagle.
in England, right? Like every pop star in England, before their single came out, they would go perform at this. And it was like national news.
Right.
Like it's such a big deal. But I think that also there's a difference now in what you call a club, right? Like the techno club, it's like I've been to a few techno clubs and they're just like warehouses. And the music's okay, but it's not like, oh, this is an amazing kind of
And that's why I said, like, why do they call it the best? Because if you think about it, back in the 80s, 90s, that's how people launched their dance. Like the club music started inside of a true club. And that's how the DJs got a chance to talk to each other like, hey, did you hear this track? You got to play this. And then that's how the true house head and the house music heads really got their start from being deep inside Ultra, Barbara Tucker, like all of those folks start there and then just blew up. And so I think to that point is how we kind of maybe gauge what the best of it is versus...
It's homogenized now.
And it's also a generational thing also because when I think back to, 10, 15 years ago, I would have said, the Coliseum here in South Florida, as being the best of the best. No, not in Rome.
Cal Ferguson, that is such a Cal Ferguson statement, yes.
Like I was a child.
But our very own Jonathan actually performed at Eagle, New York last week.
I did.
Yes.
I mean, it's funny because I performed at some of these venues, and the Eagle versus like the Eagle in London, the two totally different things.
Oh, they're all so
like one is
different.
more disco queer, the other one's more leather, dark. So the brand Eagle does not spread, like they just don't talk amongst each other.
Doesn't spread.
It was really interesting, because the one in LA was so. Because I went to the one in New York and the one in LA.
Yeah.
Two entirely different worlds, and I was like, I thought these were all the same.
But think about it, they're not, but they're feeding their community. So our Eagle is built in the heart of the tourist town.
Honey.
So they have to feed, they have to give the place for the tourists, and so they have to try to find a good mesh of, and they did a great job describing it in the article of, feeding the tourists, also trying to feed the leather folks. But the crazy thing is, I'm not sure if you guys saw, there was a recent post or TikTok where folks were looking around at the Eagle and looking at the lack thereof of boots. So how can we call ourselves a leather bar when there's truly no leather boots inside of the leather bar?
They do what they want. It's called branding.
And I have to say, I went to Dallas, Eagle Dallas.
That part.
And Dallas Eagle is like probably one of my favorites, and I've been to a few of them. But that's because I like Dallas gay culture better. It's just a very low-key, laid-back, like non-pretentious group, and that's kind of how that Eagle
I mean, listen,
is.
I think your city is going to kind of change your bar. So
Absolutely.
It's going to pertain, I guess, to the culture there, but it's still very weird when we're considering top 10, top 5 in the bars. Yeah, it's very weird.
So I'm actually really curious for Max because you're our newly minted 21-year-old.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've been to a couple of bars in the last couple of weeks.
So I'm so infrequent. I don't know. Like my thing is like I don't know. It's a lot of times going out just hasn't been my scene in general. I'm a bit of a homebody, as extroverted as I would like to believe myself to be. And so it remains to be seen. I sort of have to be dragged out to scenes.
I mean, that's actually
I was the
that's
same
thing,
way, though.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that you're extroverted, but also, I mean, we can say your energy is projected in so many other areas.
Right.
That you being a homebody completely makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, because I don't have the time.
Shameless plug. Come to Eagle Arctic Deep South host their event every second
When?
Saturday.
Second
So every month we bring out the black and brown leather folks.
All right.
And there you will
All right.
find the true leather.
Y'all take pleather.
We will bring it all, baby. Bring in the pleather, the leather,
Budget.
the heels, and it all.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ+ community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.